I do think that when we look at human design through the lens of the traditional definition of human design, we do talk a lot about the open centers being heavily conditioned and being more vulnerable to conditioning. And I'm going to say, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I do think
Okay.
that open centers give us predictable ways in which we are conditioned. Like that's why we have like the themes of the open centers. I do think it's very possible to be deeply conditioned in your definition. If you are, let's say you have a defined ajna and it's defined through the channel 4323, people may have said to you, oh, you're just a know-it-all. All you want to know, all you have to do is know everything, right? Oh, some of you are nodding, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And so if you internalize that as, oh, it's not okay or safe for me to be who I am or how I am because I have this definition and I can't turn it off, right? Then that can actually be just as conditioned as an open center. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is when we talk about conditioning, I want to make sure that yes, we always look at the open centers because that tells us a lot about motivation and drive and about the potential for wisdom and choice in a chart. But I want to be mindful that we always go back to remembering that you can definitely get conditioning in your openness, but also from your definition. You can also be conditioned from how your parents behaved, depending on the shadow elements of their chart. Many of us were raised with not self-projector parents, and we learned that whole frenetic, not knowing when enough is enough thing and think that's normal and healthy when maybe it wasn't. We can be conditioned by intergenerational family patterns. We can be conditioned by our own epigenetic programming, the ancestral memories that reside in our cells, and we can be conditioned from our own lived experiences. Um, I would not say that the unconscious is more vulnerable to conditioning than the conscious. I would say, though, it's pretty common, particularly when we're younger, like I would say 35, 40 or younger. It's pretty common to sometimes not be as aware of that unconscious definition, if you will, or the body definition as we are of the conscious. So there's a learning curve about really feeling that and sensing that and knowing that about ourselves.